I see so many yellow flowers, very good. Begin. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jatapara Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatang Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vitangscha Om Ajnana Timrandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurun Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindangringa Naisaha Vande Prasadato Yesham Suvaramba Subankara Gauravag Vigraham Vande Gaurangam Gauravaibavam Gaura Sankirtanomatam Gaura Korunya Sundaram Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchabritam Nityam Nomi Nabadwipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai Ananda Lilamaya Vigrahaya Himabdivyachcha Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Adadana Sinam Dantaya Idam Jache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padamboja Dulisham Janma Janmani. So today's extremely auspicious day on the Gaudiya Vaishnava calendar, the appearance of Vishnupriya Devi, of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Raghunandan Thakur, Raghunath Das Goswami, the disappearance of Srila Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur, and the sannyas disciples, Saraswati Thakur, their appearance or disappearance? Anyway, to honor Bharati Maharaj and Parvat Maharaj, disciples, apparent, disappearance. So three disappearance. Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur, the Bharati Maharaj of Sri Gaudiya Math, the sannyas disciple Saraswati Thakur, and Parvat Maharaj, disciple of Saraswati Thakur, and resident of Surabhi Kunj, and had the good fortune to have the darshan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his childhood, like next door neighbor of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And Vasant Panchami, the first day of spring, like the Chinese, they call their New Year Spring Festival. So there's truth in that. And Saraswati Puja, worship of the goddess Saraswati. And we can say something in that connection that we've heard from Srila Guru Maharaj. But beginning with Vishnupriya, and I was thinking, we hear so many things about her, and sometimes we may think this is remote to us, or once a year we say something. Does she have any presence in our daily lives? So I turn your attention to the Vigraha of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That comes from Vishnupriya. So she's in every day of our life. Because of her, we have Vigraha of Mahaprabhu. She introduced the worship of Mahaprabhu, that we're the happy, fortunate participant of. Just remember, she started this, right? And the anguish of separation from Nimai Pandit. And, we hear, like Guru Maharaj will say, she was 14 years old. This is another world, another culture. Right? So not like modern day and another time, 14, and her husband, Nimai Pandit, he takes sannyas. But who is her husband? who is the, Mada, who is the husband of the goddess of fortune? Right? So, it's sometimes Guru Maharaj will say, like, Mahaprabhu is her gift to the world. Right? What she had, the wealth that she had, she's taking upon herself this personal self-sacrifice and gifting Nimai Pandit, who will become Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the world, the Yuga avatar. And so if we heard in modern context that like there was some lady and she's very wealthy, she's like a billionaire, let's say a trillionaire, right? And we hear, oh, and this lady, she's taken all of her wealth and she's distributing that to, what's the word? Munificently and altruistically to benefit everyone. Right? She's taken all this wealth that was hers and she's serving the people. That person would be celebrated as a great altruist, humanitarian, would be praised, would be given the Nobel Prize for something. Right? So, and not to decry that, but it doesn't compare in the magnitude of Vishnupriya Devi's gift to the world in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, mysteriously encrypted in the Bhagavatam of Veda Vyas, in the 11th canto, what appears to be and is verse in praise of Ramachandra and his pastimes. Tyaktva sudustada shurepsita raja lakshmin dharmista arja bachasad yadagara ranyam mayam rigam dvaita ipsitam anvadavad bande mahapurushate charanaravindam. But perhaps Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur, today's his day also of remembrance and disappearance, departure. No, but this is equally applicable to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what does Guru Maharaj draw our attention to? Tyaktva sudushtaja surepsita Rajalakshmi. Rajalakshmi here will mean Vishnupriya, like Mahalakshmi, Vishnupriya. And what is being, as Ramachandra, he gave up the imperial throne. Remember, on the eve of his coronation, he is banished to the forest, Yadagara Ranyam. So without question or hesitation or a defensive posture, he hears that and tells Sita and Lakshmana, let's go, get ready to go to the forest. He doesn't say, are you sure? Or I'm supposed to, nothing. This is told to him, he's saying, oh, Sita, Lakshmana, let's go. That type of dharma buddhi and beyond Ramachandra, why he's the perfect king. But here, Guru Maharaj said, the imperial throne is the pramic heart of Vishnupriya Devi. That he had to give up. Why? Mayam ragam dvaita ipsitam ambadabad. Those deluded souls who are running after illusion, after Maya, he's going to run after them and capture them with his Sankirtan movement. How the Yadagada Aranyam. Aranya means forest, but in this context means they were banished to the forest, Ramachandra, Sita, and Lakshman. Here, Aranya means sannyas. So it's all very beautifully encrypted there and expressed, but that he is giving up the imperial throne of the pramic heart of Vishnupriya Devi. So, and we hear that in separation from Nimai Pandit, he's now Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sannyas traveling around South India, Puri, other places, that she's neglecting herself and taking Krishna Nam, and as she chants, she's taking Krishna Nam. We count on the beads, she puts a grain of rice. One, she's taking Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, a grain of rice, Hare Krishna. And that way, and living on that, that is her sustenance. She will later cook that rice and then offer it to the Lord and take that. And she's somehow living in this emaciated condition, neglecting herself, so that when after 6 years or so, according to tradition, the sannyasi can return to their hometown, their village. Mahaprabhu comes back, and we know, Sado Pasya Sriman Drita Manujakai Pranaitam Bahadbi Girvane Girisha Parameshti Pabrittibi Sha Bhaktebhya Sudham Nijabhajanam Upadisham Satchetanna Kame Dashor Yashati Param. Rupa Goswami saying, how much throng, 100,000 millions with Brahma and Shiva and other gods and goddesses donning human forms to have a glimpse of the divine form of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Raso Dama Kamar Buddha Madhura Damodrila Tanur. So incomparably sweet and beautiful and radiant, his divine form. He said, like in 10 million cupids and full-blown cupidity, that sort of seductive charm, sweetness, attraction. So surrounded by the throng, and off in the side, in the periphery, Sachimata and Vishnupriya, and his mother, Sachimata. We just heard how, when we were on Makara Sankranti discussing the sannyasa of Mahaprabhu, Sachimata was like a statue, unmoving. And for days, all those days, Mahaprabhu is wandering in divine madness, fasting. She is also fasting, and like a statue in disbelief, and having the devotees take over the possessions of Nimai Pandit that remained in the house, seeing that the devotees are the equal holders of the property of the Lord. So, tasmai deyam tato grajam sa pujo cha yata yaham. And so she's in the periphery with Sachimata, and Guru Maharaj said, Vishnupriya, she doesn't say, there's my husband. She says to Sachimata, there's your son. And he said, and dirty clothes, totally neglected, emaciated. He said, still, but to remind us, her form is divine. Not like, maybe appearing this way, but still divine form. And understanding the fire of separation that is burning in her heart, Mahaprabhu steps out of his padukas, his wooden sandals, and goes on with the throng. And he's saying to her, basically, take these and let them bring some comfort to your burning heart. And she clutches those paduka sandals, and for those who have been to Vishnupriya Bari, Mahaprabhu, the house of Vishnupriya, where the original deity of Mahaprabhu is they also have the sandals. And the descendants there, they bring those sandals and allow the devotees, sometimes they allow them to touch their head or in some way worship them. And in the case of the deity of the Vigraha of Mahaprabhu, we're told that she commissioned this deity, and they brought a deity before her, and she dismissed. And then they went and worked again, they bring before her, she dismissed. Then they brought a third time, and she drew her veil, because she saw her husband. Right. So that's why when I had a mind to, we had Giriraj Govardhan and wanted to install Mahaprabhu and Radha Govinda, and had some idea about the Mahaprabhu deity, and word came to Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj could see our idea was not perfect, you can say. So he said, if you will go and have darshan of Vishnupriya's deity, then you will understand. You know. So with one devotee assignment, I was taken there and then saw the beauty of Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Sundar. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I understand. I was feeling foolish and beautiful simultaneously. When I returned to the mat, then Gurudev, because I'm wondering, but then the deity there is in the offering mudra. Yes. Then I'm saying, sometimes we see like this or like this, what shall we do? And then Gurudev said, oh, come with me. And he said, I have one deity that I have commissioned for Guru Maharaj's birthplace in Hapania. We had nothing there yet. It was like future project. Right? And this deity of Mahaprabhu was on the side of the altar, where there's Mahaprabhu and Krishna and Radharani, and on the side, and like, you know. And then he showed the deity, this very deity, and I saw how beautiful the deity was, and just, I said, perhaps Mahaprabhu would like to go to America for preaching. I was just hearing myself say those words. You know? And Gurudev did his like, Ore Baba. You know, like, and I was like, all right, okay, you know. But then Gurudev, he got some special inspiration, and he's like, come with me. And we go upstairs, and there's Guru Maharaj. You know. And also that picture where I'm bowing before Guru Maharaj, he's putting a garland on me. If you look carefully in that picture, you see Srila Gurudev going like this. You see that? That's what he's doing. He's arranging this. You understand? Guru Maharaj is doing that, putting the garland. But look at Gurudev. He's going. I know what he's doing. He's going like this, which means he's right. But also, like, seeing now the garland will go on him, like there. You know. He's arranging that. So he takes me up to see Srila Guru Maharaj, and he said, that's when he said, Goswami Maharaj has given you 3 deities at the time he met. Search for Sri Krishna, reality the beautiful, Sri Guru and his grace, golden volcano of divine love. And Guru Maharaj listening. He said, so Maharaj, he said, you give one deity to Goswami Maharaj. And now Guru Maharaj and then, you know, I thought he's going to like smile and, you know, And he's thinking very deeply, and he said, it is designed and destined. And I'm saying, he said, it is designed and destined. Where he will go, from whom he will receive seva. Then he started speaking like the Mahaprabhu deity, talking to Guru Maharaj, saying, I am rather disgusted with your mistreatment, and I will go elsewhere. And then he started smiling, and then we're all like smiling, like, Hare Krishna. So it's designed and destined that he would come here. But just think, that deity of Mahaprabhu, through Gurudev, through Guru Maharaj, think of him as coming from he's a gift from the heart of Vishnupriya Devi. That we can think. This is her mercy upon us. And through her Mahaprabhu, then you're getting Radha Govinda, Tungavidya, Astasaki, who should know, right? She knows how you enter Vrindavan, and comes in Gaura Leela, Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur is saying, Yata yata Gaura Padara Vinde. It's at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. The entrance to Vrindavan is Nabadwipa. The entrance to Krishna Leela is at the lotus feet of Gauranga. No less than Astasaki Tungavidya saying that. Vindeta bhaktim krita punya rasi. Those who are krita punya means sumedasa, refined theistic intellect. They will appreciate this. Tata tatot sarpati hridya kasmat. And then she explains, that then what will be the result of putting all your seva capital offering as to Guru and Gauranga? Automatically, subconsciously, deep from within the core of your heart, in the deep heart's core, what will happen? Radha padam boja sudamburasi. She's saying, the Radha rasa shuddhanidhi will flow. I mean, it's the current of seva that's emanating from the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. Unbelievable. That's in a verse. That's in one verse from the Chaitanya Chandramritam. Chaitanya Chandra Amrita, Chandramrita of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. That is Vishnupriya Devi's gift to the world. And interestingly, when Guru Maharaj is discussing her, he segues from her to Saraswati. So, when we say Saraswati Puja, someone we were telling before, the girl, she's the goddess of learning in the most generic sense. So the Indian school girls, if you go there right now, turn on a camera, whatever, you'll see they're wearing yellow dresses, saris, Punjabi, whatever it is, yellow, bright yellow, and going to school like that. And it's kind of a holiday, and praying to Goddess Saraswati that they'll get good grades on their exams, that kind of thing. So, just like we told Bhog Shiv, Chag Shiv, Bhakti Shiv, remember, Radharani, she's really, Adya Shakti generally means Durga Devi, but if you take it meaning Adya, the original Shakti of Shaktis, it will always go back to Radharani. As Krishna is the Adi Purush, she's the Adya Shakti. She's the original source of all Shaktis, of all feminine representation. Spiritual and mundane. Remember, the mundane is a reflection of the spiritual. So, when these ISKCON artists asked Guru Maharaj about some things in Brahma Samhita, and Saraswati, she's giving mantram to Brahma, they want to know her carrier, and Guru Maharaj she is riding on a white swan, But he's saying, that is Dibya Saraswati. Make a distinction. Remember Keshava Keshava Kashmiri, the scholar Nimai Pandit, we're told, Sudha Shuddha, not Sudha. Shuddha. Sudha means nectar, Shuddha means pure. Shuddha Saraswati descended on his tongue, made him express certain things. Right? So Dibya Saraswati. And why I'm telling this, because Guru Maharaj did, quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, saying the mundane knowledge, which in one sense it seems like you can attribute to her reflective, mundane world goddess aspect, he's saying that takes you away from Krishna, that sort of gyan or knowledge. And that's why Guru Maharaj would say knowledge is poison. When I told this one scholarly devotee from Switzerland, he asked him, after months of preaching to him, trying to get through, Guru Maharaj said, "Are you ready to admit that knowledge is poison?" Just dead silence. Right? Guru Maharaj said, "Ha, not yet." And remember, Guru Maharaj, I said to him, once I said, playfully, I said, you're always talking about jnana shunya bhakti, knowledge-free devotion. But I said, no less than Saraswati Thakur said, Sridhara Sakalam Beti. Sridhar knows everything. So I'm saying, Maharaj, you know everything, you know so much, and you're telling us. And Guru Maharaj was like, like he was caught for a moment, And then he thought, like he will say, I have to think about things and slowly read, carefully consider, and then respond. Always that's his way. Right? And he said, beautifully, he said, when knowledge is in the service of devotion, it's in its rightful position. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he's saying, so like the mundane aspect of Saraswati, God, oh goddess, help me get good grades, help me pass this exam, that kind of thing. Or when the singing competition, the dancing, she's the goddess of the arts. So anything related to speech, that means eloquence, speaking, singing, and you see her, the beautiful pictures of her with the musical instruments and, So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, you know what another of her name is? Krishnapriya. That's Vag Devi, the goddess of speech. And say, oh, she's Krishnapriya. That's Shuddha Saraswati. She's generally told to be the wife of Narayan, Vishnu, sometimes Brahma. It's a mix, but not ultimately. Only a mix from a generic point of view. Really, she is pure Shuddha Saraswati, Dibya Saraswati, Krishnapriya. Right? So when she's giving mantram to Brahma, that's the proof. There is no mundane world. It can't be the goddess of the mundane. There isn't any mundane world. He hasn't created it yet. He's on that lotus flower. Remember the lotus flower that came out of Garbhodakshai Vishnu and opened up, and Brahma was saying, imagine you awaken and you're sitting in the middle of a giant lotus flower and wondering how you got there and who you are. Who am I? How did I get here? What am I supposed to do? And you hear, ta, pa, ta, pa. And he starts, what does Prabhupada describe tapasya as? Voluntarily inconveniencing oneself for the sake of spiritual realization. Like you say, Gurudev gave you the saffron, Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi, the saffron dress on this day, right? Why? What does it symbolize? You're going to sacrifice yourself for this cause, for this purpose. And what is it? The pleasure of Krishna, ultimately. In service, Radha Dasyam. What is it about sannyas? Gopi Dasyam. The sannyas mantra is about Gopi Dasyam. Gopi Bhav. That's at the heart of the sannyas mantra. That's why Gurudev, sometimes when he would give the sannyas, he'd say, your days as a man are finished. Days as a woman, they're finished. Right? Now, this divine maiden concept. So, so Saraswati, why? And that's significant. Brahma, he's the male in this scenario. Goddess Saraswati is a divine female. She's giving the mantra. I say, well, wait a minute. And then the Brahma Gayatri is not given to females. But Brahma, he's getting this one mantram, not that one, from her. We're told when the flute song of Krishna enters the ears of Brahma, he's giving that. But it's noteworthy that he's getting this Kama Gayatri from Dibya goddess Saraswati. So, Guru Maharaj said, so when we look at the divine aspect, that's why I said in the beginning, quoting from Prapanna Jivanamritam, Gauravag Vigraham Vande Gaurangam. This is praise of Saraswati Thakur. Who is he? The Gauravag Vigraha. She's Vag Devi, the goddess of speech. But now we're in the divine zone of Shabda Brahma. Gauravag means what Mahaprabhu, the voice of Mahaprabhu. Saraswati Thakur, he's the Gauravag Vigraha. He's the personification of the voice of Mahaprabhu. That's how Guru Maharaj sees him. And isn't it interesting to note that his name is Saraswati? That's not an accident. His name, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Right? Saraswata. What is it? The Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. Who are the Saraswatas? The followers of Saraswati Thakur. And where's Veda Vyasa's ashram? On the banks of the Saraswati. That current that's coming down from there, that's who the Saraswatas, he said, Guru Maharaj said, we are word traders. Like words are our business. Right? That's when he said word trader. Like, that's what we do. We make this divine, this current that's coming down, we're offering ourselves in service to the flow of that divine current. That is really Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. So, and is that working? Yes. What does it say? Okay. So, and then Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who we know Vidyanidhi means an ocean of knowledge, right? But what type of like he's an ocean of gyan? That can't be. So Mahaprabhu didn't call him Vidyanidhi. He called him Premanidhi, an ocean of prem or divine love, because. In other words, that vidya, that what is the verse that aham ajnanajam tama, in the nutshell slokas of the jnanadipena bhashvata. That Guru Maharaj and his hidden treasure of the sweet absolute, he's saying jnanadipena bhashvata. I mean, like he illumines their hearts with the torch of divine knowledge. That can't be for Jnana Shunya Bhaktas. Saying when the devotee is feeling the pain of separation to the extreme, at that time Krishna reveals himself to them. That's Guru Maharaj's interpretation of that nutshell sloka. And he reminds us that separation, this is the measure And that's why we see, again, in Vishnupriya, this is how you measure the depth of divine love and attachment and affection, is in separation what is felt. And we see her separation of the highest type. And what does Mahaprabhu come to experience? In the words of Gurudev, what is his tasting matter? Enveloped by the heart and halo of Radharani, Radha Baba Duty Subbalita, plunging the depths of separation in Radha Bhav, 24 hours a day for the last 12 years of his manifest pastimes. So this Pundarik Vidyanidhi, and we think like the devotees who are voyeuristically envisioning themselves as super servitors. That is Prakrita Sahajyaism. Look at those who are in Vrindavan, actually, right, not by fantasy or fictitious devotional madness, the actual devotees of Vrindavan. Pundarik Vrishabhanu Maharaj, right? He appears in Gaur Leela as Pundarik Vidyanidhi. In Raradesh, East Bengal. I think today, they call it Chittagaon. It's Chittagram, right? But it's all perfect. Because they say, oh, it's supposed to be unauspicious because the Ganga doesn't flow there. So different great devotees of Mahaprabhu appear there. And in the case of Pundarik Vidyanidhi, that causes him to visit Nabadwipa to worship Mother Ganga and to bathe in the Ganga. What is his method? He can't tolerate that people use the Ganga for their own lower purpose. Like mundane bathing, cleaning clothes, he can't tolerate that. So we're told at night he would go and very respectfully offer some puja, and on the banks, giving Shastanga Dandavats, take some drop of Ganga and put on his head. Yeah. That's what Vrishabhanu Maharaj from Vrindavan does, and that's how he does it. Other people may do it another way, that's how he does it. So he comes there, but we're told he's from a very wealthy family. Right? And then Guru Maharaj's segue is saying, but it doesn't compare to the wealth of Krishna Prem that's in his heart, in Premanidhi, Pundarik Premanidhi. Right? But he is, by external circumstance, extremely wealthy. And showing that type of lifestyle. But he comes periodically to bathe in the Ganga and do Ganga Puja. And from his hometown is Mukunda Dutt, who is the bosom buddy, best friend of Gadadhar Pandit. And remember, Gadadhar Pandit, the remainder of Radharani, after her heart is halo been plundered by Krishna to become Gauranga. So Gadadhar Pandit, and I just say as a sign, how beautiful Gadadhar Pandit is, we just cannot conceive. Radharani as a young, beautiful boy, it's unthinkable. And this very sweet nature, and just the descriptions of Gadadhar Pandit are just heart swallowingly beautiful. And that Gadadhar Pandit, his best friend is Mukunda Dutt. And Mukunda Dutt hears, because he gets news from his hometown, that Pundarik Vidyanidhi will be visiting. And he's saying, oh, this would be a great opportunity. Gadadhar, would you like to meet a Vaishnav? And Gadadhar Pandit's so sweet, and oh, it would be my good fortune if I could see a Vaishnava. Yes, very much so. Then let us go and have the darshan of the Vaishnav. And when they arrive, what are we told? Pundarik Vidyanidhi, dressed in silk garments, on a palanquin, silk cushions, golden throne, jeweled throne, umbrellas, spittoons, chewing on pan, spitting the pan in the spittoons, mirrors to monitor his own beauty from the reflections, like oiled hair, very fashionably, right? Perfumed, like you can smell the perfume from where you're sitting. And you know, chewing pan, everything, the red tongue, the red lips, spitting the juice from time to time. and apparently very pleased with himself, like his own divine form. And Gadadhar Pandit and Mukunda like, there's the Vaishnava. And we'd say, this completely contradicts the stereotype of our expectancy of what it would be to see some spiritually exalted personality. To this day, with the speak of 500 years ago. And Gadadhar Pandit like, and Mukunda sees the ambivalence, the hesitation in Gadadhar Pandit, and he's thinking, all of this external show is making you look puzzled, bemused, bewildered. Oh, I see. It's the external aspect. So what shall I do? Remember, Mukunda, Sanjaya Mukunda Basu Goshani, the expert singer. And so Mukunda thinks like, I'll sing something and maybe that will touch Pundarik Vidyanidhi and he'll show who he really is. So he starts saying, Ho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam Jigam Sayapaya Dapyasadvi Lebhegatim Datri Uchitam Tatonyam Kamvada Alum Sharanam Brajema. Saying, he's singing beautifully in a sweet voice. Like, who is a more merciful Lord than Krishna? The witch Putana came disguised as a buxom nurse to poison the baby Krishna with her poison-anointed nipple. And Krishna sucked the poison, her milk, and her pran, her life air, and liberated her. And she achieved mother-like position. So I think, if that's how he treats his enemies, we can't conceive how he would treat someone who actually has some love and affection for him. It's inconceivable. He liberates his enemies. Is there a more merciful Lord than Krishna? Kambad alum shadanam brajema. And then we're told, his body starts shivering. And he's saying, Kamba, is there a more merciful Lord than he? And then he's like pulling his hair and throwing the hookah and the pillow and everything. And his waves of ecstatic symptoms start playing on his divine form. And he's falling out onto the ground. And for hours, he's in an ecstatic trance. By some account, Chaitanya Bhagavat, 9 hours in a death-like trance. That means unable to maintain awareness, external awareness. He's so deep into the upper world. And Gadadhar Pandit thinking, oh, what have I done? I thought I'm in the presence of such a exalted Vaishnava, and I was thinking he's a mundane person because of external consideration, objective consideration. I missed the subjective aspect. What hell awaits me? But we're told Gadadhar Pandit had not taken initiation at that point. And if you will take shelter of such a Vaishnava, then there become Guru. Guru doesn't take offenses from the disciples, ignores them all. like a parent or with a child. So that's the strategy. We offend the Vaishnava. Then if I take shelter of the Vaishnava, then freed from the offense, I thought, Vaishnavera kriya mudra vigyeha nabujoy. So, but then Gadadhar Pandit saying, but Nimai Pandit is my Lord and Master. So I asked Nimai Pandit. And we're told, up to that point, sometimes Mahaprabhu saying, crying out mysteriously, Bap, Pundarik, Bap, meaning, Father, Pundarik, where are you? Please come for me. Like that song, Hindi song, Suniyo Ji. Please, don't forget me, come for me. And he's saying, Bap, Pundarik. And the devotees are saying, who is this Pundarik? We've heard of Pundarikaksham, the lotus-eyed Lord Vishnu, but we don't know. But Mukunda is saying, I think I know who it is. From my hometown. And what he's saying, Father, remember, his Radha Bhav Duty Subalita, enveloped in the heart and halo of Radharani, Vrishabhanu Maharaj has appeared in Gaura Leela as Pundarik Vidyanidhi. That's why he's saying, Father, come for me. So when Gadadhar Pandit approaches, Mahaprabhu is saying, I have the mind to take initiation from Pundarik Vidyanidhi. Mahaprabhu says, yes, he is your father. Of course you should. He is your Gurudev. Yes, you should get mantra from him. Because we're told later, by Yoga Maya, Gadadhar Pandit forgot the mantra. And asked Nimai Pandit, what should I do? He said, you should hear from him again. So, and that, when Mahaprabhu saw Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he said, today my life has become perfect because the ocean of Krishna Prem personified is before me. And when they met, it seemed like they melted into one another in an ecstatic trance for hours. They just embraced one another and became as if one. And that Pundarik Vidyanidhi, who we're told also was a friend of Svarup Damodar, goes to Puri. Sometimes in Puri, Mahaprabhu and the devotees, they're at the Indradyumna-sarovar lake playing. So Ramananda and Sarvabhauma, they're playing like children in the water, splashing each other, fighting, wrestling. And then that's Sarvabhauma and Ramananda in one place. Another place, Svarup Damodar and Pundarik Vidyanidhi, they're playing in the water, splashing, playing around, wrestling, the two of them. And Mahaprabhu's watching all of this. and he has different ways of seeing. At one point he's saying, is this good? What if people see this? They're supposed to be like perfect pictures of gravity. Guru means heavy. And look at them, they're playing like naughty children. He's saying, that may disturb the minds of the public. And we're told at that point, Gopinath-acharya says, what? And see how they play with Mahaprabhu's horn. He's saying, like, Ek Bindu Jagat Dubai, one drop of your divine mercy can flood the universe. Mountains are inundated flooded with your mercy. And they're like little hills. So why is this happening? Your mercy. They're drowning in an ocean of Gora Vishwam Gora Rase Magnam, according to Prabodhananda Saraswati. So, therefore, it's your mercy at play. And he knows that is true. What is expressed and comes from the hearts of the devotees. Then Pundarik Vidyanidhi, the Chaitanya Bhagavat ends mysteriously. He's in Puri. And he's the ultimate Raga Marg Bhakta, to say the least. Right? And he's saying that the servitors of Jagannath, that they are, when they offer the cloth to Jagannath, that it's called Madhua Basa, means starch cloth. You know, rice starch, they used to put in, it makes it like stiff and rough. So he sees that they take that starch cloth and they just give it to the deity. And he's thinking, they should like first soak it in water, get all the starch out, soften it up, you know, make it nice, and then give it to the deity. So there's no itching and no stiffness, you know. So he's finding fault with their seva, thing is seva aparad. And that night in a dream, Jagannath and Baladev appear to him and start slapping him hard on the face to express their displeasure. So when he wakes up in the morning, his face is all swollen, and Svarup Damodar comes, well, you know, like, Jagannath and Baladev did this to me. To express their displeasure at my finding fault with Jagannath's servitors. And the underlying meaning being like, I've come to be supremely merciful. It's only through mercy, right, that people, that the fallen are going to get this wealth. It's not a question of justice, as Gauranga said. Mercy is above justice. Don't approach the Department of Justice. You may be shocked by what is waiting there for you. But approach the Department of Mercy, get this merciful dispensation. Right? So, and Chaitanya Bhagavat ends there mysteriously, as if to indicate there's more to come, as we find in the pages of Chaitanya Charitamritam. And Raghunandan Thakur, a beautiful boy, extraordinary beauty. Why? How extraordinary? The great devotee is saying he's an incarnation, he's an avatar of Pradyumna, of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Pradyumna, who in Krishna Lila? The son of Rukmini, who is said to be Cupid. Like when Cupid became an anga, bodiless due to being burned by the, you know, that's another, took shelter in Pradyumna. So we're saying, the ladies of the palace, Pradyumna was so beautiful, they're saying like on parallel with the beauty of Krishna. That's how beautiful he is. Like he's Cupid personified, Krishna-like beauty, that even the mothers, they were disturbed sometimes by the beauty of Pradyumna. He appears in Gaur Leela as Raghunandan Thakur. And so understand, this is Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Ekala, Ishwara, Krishna, Arsa, Britya. They also want to serve. They don't think like, oh, we're Vishnu Tattva. No, they want to taste devotion. And what are we told? And so appears in the family of another Mukunda, Mukunda Vaidya, means doctor, Dr. Mukunda. Right? And that Dr. Mukunda gets called on house call and remote place, asks the boy, Raghunandan, who's 5, 6, 7, something like that, to do the deity seva, like offer the deity lunch. That time comes, Raghunandan, you know, bring the plate, and please do take. When he comes out, he sees that all the prasadam is still there, which is generally the case, angani yasya sakalendriya virtimanti. By sight, Krishna can take everything, and then it's mysterious, everything is there. All of his senses are interchangeable. But Raghunandan is saying, like, please, my Lord, take the prasadam. Then he's becoming upset and also thinking, my father, when he comes back and sees these full plates, will think I didn't do what I was asked to do, which is serve the deity. So with his heart, his pramic heart, he's pleading with the deity to take prasadam. So it's one thing we go, the devotees go, which prayers are we supposed to say when we do this? And how do we ring the bell and we do the, and I'm not decrying, just saying that's some preparation for this plane. Raghunandan's heart is breaking. It's bleeding. He's begging Krishna to eat. And Krishna, aham bhakta pradino hyasvan tantra ivadrija. Guruvara said, in the presence of devotion, he becomes helpless. The helpless absolute. Can we conceive of that? A helpless absolute? Is that an insult? The helpless absolute? In the presence of devotion? And he has to eat. Then Raghunandan, good, everything's fine. I'll be back. When you're done, let me know if you need anything. If you want extra, there's extra, we have more. Then mother discovers the empty bowl, plate, everything, and asks Raghunandan, like, where's the prasad? What do you mean, where's the prasad? Gopal ate everything. Gopal ate everything, right. Oh, so she's thinking the mischievous boy, he ate everything and is telling the deity ate everything. You're going to be in trouble when your father gets home. Then the father comes, she said, that boy, that naughty son of yours, what he did today. They cook again. Raghunandan's claiming innocence, he's pleading his case. No, Gopal ate everything. And the father's ultimately like, all right, you show me how Gopal eats everything. Right. Cook again, he's saying, Gopal not taking, Mukunda like peeping, seeing, and then Gopal's taking. Then when he comes in, Gopal's like, and deity pose again. And if you see that deity, you see his hand like this. He's in this posture. He has like a ladu or something in his hand. And he is eternally that way. And now Mukunda can understand, like, who is our child? What is his level of devotion? I saw from a peeping, I saw the deity eating what he was offering him. So in that Raghunandan, when their village comes, Sri Khanda, Raghunandan, he's a dancer in the Rath-yatra, those different kirtan parties. He's the principal dancer of that group. So you got Mukunda singing, and Raghunandan dancing, and besides being very beautiful, we're told his dancing was also extraordinary. That's one group. And there are 4 that become, how many? 6, 8, 7 party, when you add the other 3, right? So these are the disciples of Mahaprabhu, and in Puri, when they come for the Rath-yatra, Mahaprabhu saying Mukunda, like, and who's the father in your house? You or Raghunandan? Who is the father? And he says, Raghunandan is the father. Meaning, he's got real devotion. We're his children. Our devotion is the comes from him. And Mahaprabhu was very pleased to hear that. And what time is it? Then Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur. And what can we say? You know, the Gurvvasṭaka of Vishvanath. They're like the Guru song, one of the all-time great Guru song, full expression of the position of Guru is to be found there. And interestingly, in the second verse, Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nritya Gita Bharitra Madhvan Manaso Rasena Romansakam Pasru Tarangabhajo Bandega Roshi Charanadana. Then the Sri Vigraha. Anyway, Sangsara Dava Nalalita Loka Tranaya Karuna Ganaganatna. The mercy of Guru is extinguishing the fire of material existence. The Guru is always meditating on the pastimes of Mahaprabhu. He introduces the Vigraha of Mahaprabhu and Radha Govinda, and the taking of prasadam, the decoration of the deities. Then it leaps into the zone of the worship of Radha and Krishna, and the Nikunja Seva of the Manjari class, then the Sakshad Hari, Kintu Prabhoya Priya Vitasya, Guru to be seen as Prabhu Priya, Tadeva Hyachuta Priya, Kimba Bhagavata Dharma, Na Prayana Nirupita Priya, Paramahansanan, Tadeva Hyachuta Priya, Achuta Priya, Prabhu Priya, the one who is most dear to Krishna, meaning Srimati Radharani. And that pleasing Guru is the raison d'etre, the reason for being, the existence, aspiration of the devotees. Oh, we didn't mention Raghunath Das Goswami, who, the prayojan-tattva-acharya of this line, who also left Sri Apsara Sama, in the Aishwarya Sama, left the opulence equal to that of Indra, the king of heaven, a wife like an Apsara, a heavenly goddess, and like a madman ran to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. And after some time, and he's the personification of renunciation. But he will say, Vairagya yug bhakti rasa prayatne apayayam mam anabib samandam kripam buddhi yat paraduka duki sanatanas tvam prabhumasrayami. Guru Maharaj said, here he's saying as if this is some new life to him, right? Who we conceive of as the ultimate, the personification of renunciation. He's saying, Sanatana goes, I was unwilling to drink this nectarine substance. So this is not dry vairagya. He's saying it's some nectarine juice that Sanatana Goswami forced him to drink. Guru Maharaj uses the word anupam, not anupam, but anupan, meaning carrier. Like, you know, with those essential oils, something's called the carrier, right? It's a liquid vehicle to bring this other substance. He's saying that's anabipsam undam, that like Sanatana Goswami made me drink this. And how his only unhappiness is to see those who are suffering for want of connection with this divine substance. How wonderful is Sanatana Goswami Prabhu. And he's put under the care of Svarup Damodar, and after some time says to Mahaprabhu, I want some direct instruction from you. And Mahaprabhu gives that Gramya Katha, Na Shunibe, Gramya Katha, etc. Don't hear mundane talks, don't eat luxurious foodstuffs, don't engage in mundane topics, and always in your heart of hearts worship Radha and Krishna, your Siddha Deha, Siddha Manasa, like that. Gives him the Govardhan Shila to worship that he kept on his heart. Mahaprabhu himself gave that Govardhan Shila to Raghunath Das. And he's saying, but why put you under the care of Svarup Damodar? What I don't know, he knows fully, which is enigmatically puzzling. How can there be something unknown to him? What is that? Prema, Radhar Mahima, Prema Rasasima. The Radha Bhav, the Mahabhav, Swarupini, Radha Thakurani, the Mahabhav of Radharani, her heart's expression, the way she loves Krishna, Sri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidyashovaneva, the type of Krishna Prem that she alone possesses, what she's tasting, what she's experiencing. Who is always at the side of Radharani and Krishna Lila? Lalita Saki. Who is she in Gaur Lila? Svarup Damodar. So Mahaprabhu says, what I don't know, he knows. The heart of Radharani is terra incognita, unexplored, divine terrain to me. Adi Purush Govinda Krishna, the supreme enjoyer, now enveloped in the mood of the supreme negative. Saying, Lalita Saki, who is always at her side, she knows what to do, what to say, what to sing, what to express. I will be lost in divine madness. Svarup Damodar knows what to do. You shall be trained by him how to assist, to render this sort of divine service. So that Das Goswami, who after the disappearance of Svarup Damodar and Mahaprabhu, feels he has no longer any reason to live, and think, I will go to Govardhan, Nija Nikata Nivasa Dehi Govardhanatvam, have the darshan of Govardhan and Radha Kunda, then throw myself from Govardhan because I no longer have a reason to live. Like Vishvanath, Parvat says, reading Vishvanath Chakravarti's commentary on Vyavasayatmika Buddhi Ekeha Kurunandana Gita Sloka, that the disciple's sole reason for existing is to fulfill the order of Guru. So Prabhupada personifies that. Total self-oblivion, self-sacrifice, and service to the order of Guru. As the ultimate Guru is Srimati Radharani. So Das Goswami, the prayojan-tattva-acharya, saying ultimately our consideration, our target, our goal is Radha Dasyam, the service of her lotus feet. We're saying in the absence of Mahaprabhu and Svarup Damodar, Ashavare Amrita Sindhu Mayi Katanchit Kalo Mayati Gamita Kila Sampradamhi Tvam Chet Kripa Mayi Vidasha Shinaiva Kimme Prane Brajena Chabororu Bukharinapi. That my heart's aspiration, my reason for being, the purpose and meaning of my life has been an aspiration to serve her holy lotus feet. And if that opportunity is withdrawn from me, then I have no reason to live anymore. Prane, pran means life. My life is of no meaning. Brajena. No, and what is more valuable than my life? Vrindavan. That is of no value to me. And Guru said, and it is a shameless thing to say, but Krishna, without you, meaning Krishna without Radharani is a dreadful thing. Bakari means the killer of Baka, like this is not that the Swayam Bhagavan, the Rasaraj Krishna who's at the side of Radharani. So so Krishna is of no use to me. And Guru said he heard Sanyal express similar sentiments, and Vyas Puja addressed the Saraswati Thakur saying, because you say we have some connection and service with Krishna, we do. Otherwise not. Our focus is on you. And you say we have to do all these things. So we do them. And Guru Maharaj, who's very honest, one thing, a hallmark of Guru Maharaj's spiritual life is his honesty. Hare Krishna. For Das Goswami, I should honor the insects. Yet kinchit trigumakit katamukam, because they are Mukunda Daita, dear to Mukunda, and Leelanukul, favorable to the culture of Leela. So I should not dismiss them so easily. But so Sanyal said that, and Guru Maharaj said he found that puzzling to hear. And he's saying all of our, like Guru occupies that position? And he's saying, then he came to understand in time at that Radha Kunda circumambulation, when the devotee saw the Maharaj and his family, the Rani, a queen, and they're all bowing and measuring and going around Radha Kunda giving dandavats. And he said to Saraswati Thakur, they have so much regard for Radharani. And Saraswati Thakur said, yes, but there's a difference between the way they worship Radharani and the way we worship Radharani. He said their idea is that Krishna is in the primary position and Radharani is in the secondary position. So because she's the dearest to Krishna, they honor her, they worship her. He said our conception is just the opposite. Radharani is in the primary position and Krishna is in the secondary position. And because Krishna is dear to Radharani and Radharani wants us to serve Krishna, we have some connection. But our connection is with her, Radha Dasam. And Guru Maharaj went so far as to say, the jivas, the Brahma Jyoti, the generic, the units of consciousness, and saying that's in generic sense, Brahma Jyoti. Then there's more specific, Anga Jyoti, of Baladev, certain jivas coming from that. And we're told the Madhura Rasa jivas come from the Anga Jyoti of Radharani. That comes from Saraswati Thakur. So how Guru-centric we are, and she is the ultimate conception of Guru. The Ujjvala Rasa Acharya is none other than Srimati Radharani. So Saraswati Thakur concluded, it's almost what I was saying in the beginning. He said, we are Shuddha Shaktas. Means pure goddess worshippers, but of the supreme goddess of fortune, Srimati Radharani. So it's Das Goswami and his prayers saying, it's everywhere, it's in Rup and Sanatan, but you may have to search for it. Das Goswami, he is boldly declaring that ultimately our concern is with Radharani. Those who are aspiring members of the Krishna consciousness movement, that it's all about attaining the service of her holy lotus feet. So what does Guru Maharaj say? Sri Radha Padasevanamritamaham Tad Datamisho Bhavan, and his prayer to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Yadamima Mahima Sri Bhagavatyam Katayam Pati Patam Anubhutam Labdabideya Tad Akila Rasamurti Shama Lila Avalambam Madhura Rasadi Sri Radha Padasevana like that. Madhura Rasadi Sri Radha Padasevanamritam. The same thing. Similar words. What is Gauranga Mahaprabhu, if not a celebration, Krishna celebrating the heart of Srimati Radharani. And that Das Goswami, right, in Radha Kunda, on his hands and knees, crawling on his hands and knees. What is that level of respect? That's why we don't like that people imitate him. He said, Muke Radha Radha Boli Beshe Nayanera Jale Radha. His clothes drenched in tears, taking the name of Srimati Radharani. So not to imitate that. And there, who takes care of Das Goswami? Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And what is Das Goswami? What Mahaprabhu told, I put you under the care of Svarup Damodar for a reason, a very good reason, many good reasons. So Svarup Damodar is Mahaprabhu Ditiya Kalevar. Sakshad Mahaprabhu Ditiya. Mahaprabhu the second. That's how we are to understand Svarup Damodar. He's Mahaprabhu the second. Right? So there, Svarup Damodar, Raghunath Das Goswami, they have the capacity to observe and chronicle, express the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So from one point of view, Das Goswami leaving Vrindavan, heartbroken, feeling a separation, have the darshan of Govardhan, Radhakund, leave the world. There's Krishnadas Kaviraj, and by the way, when he's there, he's saying, oh, I see Mahaprabhu and Svarup Damodar in Rupa and Sanatan. So my life has meaning again. Right. And there's Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who's not the fit receiver of everything. Right? Remember, Rupa's writing Lalita Madhava, Vidagda Madhava, Bhakti Prasamrita Sindhu, Hangsada, all these things. Sanatan goes to Brihad Bhagavatam, Hari Bhakti Lasani. There's Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami transfers everything to the heart of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and it comes out of the heart of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, expressed as Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam. And again, in Guru Maharaj's words, the greatest literature to have ever seen the light of day in all time, all space, and all creations. And just to conclude, that disciple of Srila Saraswati Thakur, Bharati Maharaj, you can see him in some of the pictures. He's the tallest one. So whenever you see a group picture of Gaudiya Math, he's always in the back row, and he's like this much taller than everybody else. And Guru Maharaj said he was a great preacher, great common sense, people could understand what he's saying, and they would be favorably impressed and converted. Like he was a very common sense, a good preacher. And also because of that stature, like in Gorley, some, people keep their distance around Saraswati Thakur. And the Parvat Maharaj, he was the one who lived in Surabhi Kunj, what's its other names? Nabadwipa, Swananda Sugata Kunj, there where we visit the house of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he's the one who would hear Bhaktivinoda Thakur at 3 o'clock in the morning, like crying out Krishna Nam. Not just someone going, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare, like that. But he's like heartbreaking, crying out, as if whom he's calling for is off in the distance, and he's trying to, express his heart's inner anguish of separation from. That's what he heard with his own ears, and then surrendered himself to the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as a member of Gaudiya Math, and worked very, accepted hard work, seva, all the time. That's what he would do. So much Saraswati Thakur said to him, I've got my eye on you, don't think I don't see what you're doing. And he said, meaning just hard work, all day and night, those type of servitor. And he said, I've got my eye on you, and in the future, because Prabhupada used to always say, work now, samadhi later. So Saraswati Thakur said, I got my eye on you, I see it, and I accept that your heart is in it, and in the future, I'm going to give one assistant to you, And you'll be taking Krishna Nam and doing Nam Bhajan and, higher type culture in the future. But now keep doing the hard work. Hare Krishna. So all these divine personalities, and just the last thing I want to say, like quoting the verse about Putana, Guru Maharaj said, with that, the bomb burst. It touched Pundarik Vidyanidhi's heart and such came. But why it's meaningful to us, it means like there's hope for us. That's what we get from this. If Krishna is that merciful, then we can say, oh, then there's some hope for fallen souls like ourselves. And there's also hope for us in the glorification of Vishnupriya Devi, Pundarik Vidyanidhi, Raghunath Das Goswami, Raghunandan Thakur, Vishvanath Chakravarti Thakur, and these exalted sannyas disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. By singing their praise and some remembrance, we can expect some divine mercy to come to us. Hare Krishna. Sing the Gurvvasṭakam. That would be nice.